Good morning. Good morning, Facebook Live. It's Lila Gonzalez here, and I am super duper excited because I took a copious amount of notes. This is my journal, and I took a whole bunch of notes when I saw Deepak Chopra the other night. And I'm going to share some of them. I'm not sure how much. I'm just going to read some of them because I was just fascinated. And I want to ask you if you've ever seen him or if you've been interested in really just the topics around bridging science and spirituality. And really that's what I'm going to talk about today, is bridging science and spirituality. And why would I talk about something like that? Well, first off, I've been a scientist my entire life. Even as a child, I was just super curious and love science. And, you know, in seventh grade, I remember being like in love with the dissection, frog dissection, many dissections, the sheep's heart in particular. I remember getting 100% on the sheep's heart dissection, and I put the 100% piece of paper on my refrigerator because I was so proud because I love the human form and I love science. And I also, dabbled in spirituality, went to some, was baptized Catholic when I was about 11. And didn't really go to church too much. Went to a fun church when I was in high school with some friends from high school. And then really spent the next 15 years growing my non-belief, I would say. So becoming less and less connected to spirit, and instead being more and more connected to really just hedonistic activities like partying and drugs and alcohol and all that kind of fun stuff. Super good times. I have lots of lessons, lots of really fun experiences. Hey, Anita, good morning. So in terms of, so when I moved to Denver, I ended up having a beautiful spiritual awakening, and I can talk about that another time. But what's happened is that my life now has a lot of activities, my business, my friendships, the things that I do in life have a lot to do with bridging science and spirituality. Even in business, what I really believe is that you can make more money in your life. You can build the kinds of connections, the relationships that you want, if you're willing to play on this earth with the earthly stuff, but also with the energy that lies within you, with this bigger trust that whatever you want can be yours because you want it. So I would say that's a bit of the spiritual component in business. It's like this big trust. You're listening to your intuition. There's something beyond you that's woven into the science of your biology that can help you get what you want in life. So what a beautiful, areas of wisdom, beautiful bodies of knowledge to study. I feel really blessed to, I practice movement practices. I practice different kinds of yoga and bowspring, and I do breath work and energy stuff, and do prayers and sing and dance and all sorts of very fun, what I consider everything spiritual. Let's just be honest. Everything is right now. Everything is. There's no such thing as spiritual without physical. There's no such thing without physical without spiritual. It's just like no such thing. Okay. So I really love, basically, because I study and teach about everything. Just kidding. I don't know everything. I love to look at the intertwine between things. So how is for example, is showing things about what's going on with your spirit, right? Your body, the science of your body, like the energy of your body even is showing what's going on with the physical. Like your body's looking like energetically a certain way. And some people, maybe not your body, but some people, people, their body's looking a certain way, and something's going on. So that's what, a lot what Deepak does. Hey, good morning, Ashlyn. Hey, Marta. Blessings. Happy Saturday. So I want to say here, okay, a couple things that Deepak said. This is one of my favorites. He goes, the alphabet of life is our genes. The genes have letters. They're A, T, C, and G. So A, T, C, and G. And those are the 4 genes that make up all DNA, Okay, so those are the letters. And so what make up the words? DNA. DNA makes up the words. So we as humans have about 25,000 genes, and about 65% of our genes are the same genes as a banana. Is that funny? If that's funny, give me a heart. I think it's hilarious because we can start to take ourselves as seriously, maybe. If we, like, more than half of us is made up of the same thing as, I don't have a banana, but I just ate one. A banana? That's pretty funny. Come on, give me some smiley faces for that. What else? 70% of our genes, so the words that we use, the words that make us up, right? There were A, T, C, G, all of us. And the words, so the DNA, 70% is the same as a fruit fly. So they're teeny. We're only 30% different than them. A mouse, we're 80% the same as a mouse. We have the same DNA. 80% of our DNA is the same as a mouse. And then over 99%, the same DNA as a chimp. Okay? And that's probably a little bit more like, everybody's like, oh yeah, I can see that. But the rest of it, I mean, there's a big difference it would seem between a mouse and a chimp. And yet there's really not that much of a difference between what we're made up of. And there's reasons why I'm going to talk about. So what is the body, the mouse, the fruit fly, the banana, the chimp, the human? That's the story. Okay. So the genes A, T, C, G are the letters. The DNA are the words, and the form, us as a human, is the story. Isn't that cool? I think it's super duper cool. So, oh, I love this. I'm just going to read some from my notes. I hope this is valuable for you guys, because I think, I will say there were people who fell asleep in the audience. There was definitely like a sense, Deepak Chopra has this really like melodic voice, and he talks everything from the cellular level to the cosmic level. So it's like, whoa, intense. And I loved it. Took so many notes. I had to look up and be like, oh yeah, there he is again. I was so geeked out. I mean, this is like so jazzy. So I'm just going to read some of it. I hope it's fun for you too. So where is our body from, right? So if this is the story we have made up of genes and DNA, where does this body come from? Well, this body comes from a story of the total universe. All of the stuff that's inside of this body, the carbon, the hydrogen, the oxygen, the nitrogen, and then some of the others, that's like 96%. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen is 96. You're made up of like 4 things, mostly. And then the rest of it is like calcium and phosphorus and iron and magnesium and all of that kind of fun stuff that we know it's in us. But it's really just a small percentage. So carbon, if something is burned, we know it's carbon ashes. So it's like, goes down pretty small. So there was a supernova, a giant sun. That's what a supernova is, a giant sun. And, what had happened? It Big Bang exploded. That's what we've been taught. The star was burning, and then everything went out and settled. And here we are on planet Earth, and here we are in this form. There's the same like carbon in your fingernail. Same carbon in your fingernail is the same carbon that was in space. And the supernova came from the star. The same oxygen, right, in the brain is the same oxygen that came from supernova. Big Bang could have come from different galaxies even. So we're in the Milky Way galaxy, but the same carbon in your fingernail could have come from Andromeda. No joke. So the current science model, so there's a shift in science right now. Quantum physics is really, I got this new bang thing going on. I'm trying to switch them up and it's not sure if it's working. I got the curly cues, can't even figure out. Oh, that, okay. The current model of science, which is always evolving, let's just be honest, science is never static, it's always evolving, says that there are 2 trillion galaxies. So your little body, your puppy dog's little body, all the bodies around you, they're made up of parts from potentially 2 trillion galaxies. So we live in the Milky Way, which is one galaxy, and that's 100 billion stars or suns. So 100 billion suns in our galaxy. There's 2 trillion galaxies. So that means, love you, Martha. Oh, Marta. Sorry about that. So that means there's 700. So your body, this is amazing, is part of and connected to 700 sextrillion stars, uncountable trillions of planets. So like our star has, planets around it. Our galaxy, there's 100 billion stars with all sorts of planets around it. 700 sextillion stars, suns, with planets all around it. That's what we're connected to, we know right now. This is science, right? This is not spirituality even, what I'm talking about right now. This is just science. Unreal. And here's what I do. I take notes because I'm a speaker and I pay attention to what happens in the room energetically. Have you ever been in a room and the speaker starts talking about something and everybody's like, it's a little uncomfortable? Yeah. This was the moment. You'll see, I'll show you guys how I journal. I journal on one side and then I take notes on the other. And this side, but look, I put people got uncomfortable. I want to ask you, did it make you feel a little weird or uncomfortable at all when I was talking about that? Maybe not, but maybe it was like, what are you talking about? That seems impossible, or just a little like, whoa, intense. What I believe is that part of it is this, because I understand this feeling of when we realize that we're connected, we're not just this small little thing, this small little body, we got our own little problem, right? We're not just stuck here in this body. We're actually connected to everything in some way. We may not understand it yet. It starts to open up ourselves to our own vastness. And you know what the saying, I don't know, I should write it down, but something to the effect of, what we're most scared of is our own greatness. And when I really believe that as people start to feel into the fact that there are 700 sextrillion stars and countless planets that we're connected to, NASA now has astrobiology where they have a study of life on other planets now. So when we start to feel that, humans are like, woo, that's next level. It's a different idea that we weren't necessarily taught as children. It may sound like, oh, that makes sense, or it may not make sense. I don't know. It depends on your paradigm, right? I'm in one paradigm. It makes sense to me. It doesn't mean it's right. It makes sense to me. I've never seen Earth as a whole. I've never seen stars in the real life. I've never been out there and touched the sun. Okay. But this is what we're talking about as bridging science and spirituality. I mentioned astrobiology. Fascinating. NASA has an initiative, and other scientists, but I thought, I really looked this up because I was like, this is fascinating. Looking for life on exoplanets, which basically means planets outside of our solar system, or maybe outside the Milky Way. I think it's outside our solar system. I have to check that. Biosphere. So the latest estimates are that there are 60 habitable planets in the Milky Way galaxy. So that means they have soil up to the atmosphere. Right now, there's about estimates that there are 60 habitable planets in our galaxy. That's cool. As a child, I had 2 wishes. This resonates big time. Oh, good, Marta, I'm going to read some more. I love this stuff. I totally geek out. Oh my God, I love it. It's so good. Yummy. Hey, Umar. As a child, I was always a little bit strange, and we all are, right, in our own way. And I remember never thinking I want to grow up and get married, or I didn't want to have kids, or I never wanted to be anything major, like a doctor or a singer or actor, nothing like that, actress. I wanted to, I said 2 things. I want to see a tornado, which I know I can do that. I'll just figure it out and do that tornado chasing thing probably. Because I have beautiful dreams about tornadoes. Something about them really resonates. I like them a lot. Something inside of me, they're in me. I don't know what it is. I love them, but I've never been around one. So I just love to witness the beauty of one in real life. And the second thing I've always said is I want I want there to be proof that there's life on another planet. A tornado and proof there's life on another planet. Ever since I was like probably 9 years old, I can remember saying this. And so what's fascinating is I can sit here in Denver, Colorado on a Wednesday night with 1,000+ people, listen to a man tell us that NASA has this science, exploration of life on other planets. I'm like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. So, whether it's a little amoeba or a whole species of intelligent beings, I don't really even care. At this point, I feel like my dreams have already come true. We already show that it's, we've already shown, I don't really know because I don't follow it too much, but because I just intuitively know that there's life elsewhere. It just doesn't make sense to me. It never made sense to me that it was just us. And religion never made sense because it never made sense. Like, well, why are we close to God and not the people in the jungle? Like, it just never made sense, this separation idea of anything. And it still doesn't. It's just the way I live. And I understand why other people are in that paradigm. Totally okay. We're on our own path. And I'm here to share that I believe that we're all connected, and even all way up to the cosmos. The moon affects the waves. We're made of water. The moon affects us. Simple stuff like that. I've thought like this for so many years, and now it's like cool to have all this science and people really hopping on board with this, because I had no science. I had no facts. I just felt it. So, hey, I am. Good morning. Okay, let's talk about a little bit more stuff. It's fascinating. So you can imagine, so we have the same letters and just different words in terms of species. So we have the same letters as a tree. They just have a different words that make up a different story. They still are made up with A, C, T, and G. That's it, right? And they just made up in different ways, different words, and then they make up a different story, right? They move at a different pace than we do. For example, trees, they move at a very different time frame. Deepak Chopra said, we are a conspiracy. I love that. Something conspired to move us forward in this direction. 13.8 million years ago, there was the Big Bang. 4.5 million years ago, or million or billion, I forget. The planet became a planet. 2.5 million years ago, there was life. There's all these small little lives, lithophiles, chemophiles, all the hypothermophiles, the ones that hot stuff, basically the ones that volcanoes. There's volcanoes and life. One thing that I thought was so cool that Deepak pointed out was that life has been continuous. There's never been a time on Earth that life was not here once it started. Life will continue on Earth until it's not, but there's never been a life and then no life and then life again. There's been periods where there's been more life and less life, fluctuations, but there's never been a time in what we know that there's been a break in the existence of life. And that's pretty cool. There's always been this consistent evolution. Why? Because life is an experience. Life is a process. You are not this. You are always, 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 always transforming and changing. Scientific cosmological model is inaccurate. That's why it's, well, what I would say is it's evolving. It's evolving. Everything is kind of in its place right now, and then it's changing, and we're recognizing that. We have no idea what life is. Okay, well, thank you. So the activity, I love this too. Just if you remember that you are a body mind, that you're not a body, that you're not a mind, you're a body mind, and that you're ever, ever, ever changing. Every single day you have 500 million new cells. Every single day you have 500 million new cells. You are never the same person. You're always the same person. And so what if you were just to greet your day every day, say, hey, 500 million new cells. What do you want to do today? How do you want to feel? What do you want to think about? Let's do it. Let's do something different. What's popping in my head right now, and this was popping in my head yesterday, I'm just going to share, hula hooping. I love hula hooping. How how many of you like to hula hoop or do something like that that you love to do as a kid? I'm gonna hula hoop. I have a hula hoop actually, so that's gonna keep popping in my head for some reason. Okay, a couple more things I'm gonna share with this idea with body mind. I talked about this yesterday, but I'll continue to talk about it because it's one of my favorite topics, is actually how I help people. So if you feel that your body is reflecting what's going on in your life and you want to work on that, reach out. We can have a conversation, because even in my own body, I'll share. Ooh, did you hear my voice? I went body and it was like, whoo, my voice lowered because there's insecurity. I'm about to share something vulnerable. I can feel it. So I went to see my business coach recently, and she helped me realize I have a hole in my back. There's a place that's kind of asleep, that's not engaging, that's not filling up. So the energy in the area of my body right here, down to even into my belly and low back, is not fully integrated. It's not really fully working. It's kind of asleep and collapsed. And so what's happening is that can affect my life, how much energy I have, how I greet people, even how I receive love, how I digest food, all of these things. It's very important for the energetic, for the body to be open, for the energy to flow through you, for the fluid, all of that stuff. And so the body mind, it was because of my mind being really too focused on one pattern that I wasn't able to really feel that my body was being affected. So now I'm having to work my mind-body system, because that's what you are. You're a mind-body system with a soul inside that walks and talks and does all this kind of fun stuff. So your body's reflecting what's going on in your life, but what's cool is you can work your body. So I'm working my body right now to open up that space, and what that's going to do is that it's going to open up space in my life. I just know it. Just watch. I'll be sharing. Super excited. Super excited to talk to you guys more about this. Like I said, I took copious amounts of notes, and I don't want to go on and on and on. I'll just do another video probably tomorrow on some more that I learned. Some of the stuff it's like I already knew, or maybe it was like feeling like a reminder. Like the fact that there has been no break in life over existence that we know of. That's pretty fascinating to me. I'm like, huh. I really don't know what that means exactly yet, but it's fascinating. What it really just says to me is just to remind myself that it's a process. Everything is just an experience. Really just be in that awareness of you just have this, that you get to take care of it. You get to have experiences, even if they're challenging, even if you have an accident or have a heartbreak or lose a job, or it's all part of this greater experience moving toward something, but not really anything. So super excited to share a little bit about Deepak. Hey, Vanessa, good morning. Hey, Anne-Marie. Hey, Karina. So good to see you. So I'm actually getting ready to hop off here. I love you guys so much. I hope you get to watch the replay. And if anybody's watching this later, thanks so much. Giving you guys hearts all around the world. I know you're different places right now. But Deepak Chopra was really enlightening in terms of bridging the gap between science and spirituality, and how can we, I'll do a couple more videos probably on some of this, but one of the lessons, the takeaway right now, I'll give you a little nugget so I don't leave you hanging, is awareness. Just be more aware. Be more aware of your feeling state, meaning what are your toes doing? What are your legs doing? What is your belly doing? What are your thoughts doing? How do you feel? What are you saying? Are you living your dreams? Are you wishing for more? Are you giving? Are you receiving? How does it feel? Like that experience, really be in it instead of thinking about whatever's going on. You got to do tomorrow, today. Pause, feel it. And I'm going to be honest, it might not feel good. You might feel weird. That might be why you're, or somebody in your life it might be uncomfortable to be feeling their life, and that's okay. Uncomfortable is the place where we get to feel and grow. So if you guys need anything, if you need to have support in terms of really getting into your body and feeling, even if you're like, what do you mean exactly? How do I do that? How do I build awareness? Let me know. Reach out. Let's chat. I love you guys. Many blessings. Have a great Saturday. I am off. I'm going to spend a beautiful day writing my speech today, revising it, really getting, like, honing it. I'm working on my speech. I speak about dynamic presence and how to attract the kinds of clients and relationships and life that you want, from a sense of deep presence and awareness of your dreams and going in the right action towards them. So I'm working on my speech this weekend, and next weekend I'm spending 3 days with a whole bunch of other speakers, and we get to practice, and we get to really, it's vulnerable because we're not going to go on stage and be seen by all my colleagues, my speaking coach, and be, told what I need to improve on. And that's like, it's vulnerable for me. It's hard because I don't like to look stupid. That's one of my life path issues. So I'm really excited. I hope I look stupid. Just kidding. Nobody thinks you're stupid. I caught that real quick. I was like, whoa, that was an insecurity right there. I'll just share. So yeah, I'm really excited about this Saturday. I'm going to find a beautiful place. It's Colorado out here. It's so pretty. A beautiful place where there's a window that I can look out over the mountain. So there's lots of libraries and coffee shops and places like that. So I'm going to spend some beautiful time today working on speech. I'm hoping to travel around to not just here in the US, but all around the world, to teach people how to be really much more in their body and aware, and just to treat life more of an experience, ask for more, value yourself as if you came here on purpose. See you soon. Blessings. Namaste.